What's going on, New York Giant fans? Welcome back to another Roster Bubble Series video. Hit the like button if you haven't already, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or video drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. Share this out, do all the good stuff. We are on for another Roster Bubble Series video. In these types of videos, we take a player that's on the roster bubble. We talk about their background. We talk about their competition, ways they could win a spot on the roster, ways they could lose a spot on the roster, and at the end, a prediction. And we are talking about Elijah Chatman today, who is coming out of SMU, was an undrafted free agent. No team was interested in him, and the Giants signed him out of rookie minicamps and rookie tryouts. So last year for SMU, he plays the defensive line position. 9 tackles for loss, 33 total tackles, and 4.5 sacks. And again, he played 5 years at SMU. And here's a little background on him in terms of what he does, weaknesses, overall, all that sort of good stuff. This is from SI. This is from a couple of different other sites that I gathered. Although Chatman was primarily defensive lineman in college, he also played 44 snaps at fullback, 17 coming in 2019 and 27 in 2023. So if the Giants, and right now Theo Johnson is on the PUP list, so that gives an advantage to the guys like Lawrence Cager, Jack Stoll, etc., etc. But if they, for some reason, have Theo Johnson on the PUP list going into the season and they need a fullback, Elijah Chatman can do that. And he also has to play good at defensive line, but nonetheless, we continue. Per Pro Football Focus, he posted a perfect pass block efficiency rating and graded out with an 85.4 mark as a run blocker. Chatman also contributed on special teams last season. He blocked a kick and recovered a fumble for a touchdown. Very big. Again, special teams. Strengths. Powerful interior defensive lineman who flashes next level ability, fires off the snap, plays with terrific pad level, and displays good movement skills. Easily changes direction. Moves well in lateral pursuit and is fluid if asked to twist or stunt. Intense and plays through the whistle, consistently focused on by opponents in the middle of the field. Now, weaknesses, he lacks the height and growth potential, more of a gap occupier than a playmaker, poor pass rusher. Overall, Chatman is an athletic freak who has shown improvement in his game in the past 3 seasons, yet he's a 3-technique prospect with minimal versatility. So he does a lot of things good, but it's also he has a ceiling, per se, because of, 5 years in college and the college he went to, and also some of the stuff he just doesn't do well in his game. So who's he competing with? Casey Rogers, Ryder Anderson, Timmy Horn, and Jordan Phillips. Phillips is an experienced veteran. Casey Rogers is an undrafted free agent from Oregon. You got Ryder Anderson, who's been on the roster for the last 2 years. Last year didn't get any burn. Timmy Horn as well. He was with the Falcons and is competing for a roster spot. So how can Elijah Chatman win a spot on the roster? He has to grow as a pass rusher. Before we even talk about the nice little gadgety things at fullback, he's got to grow as a pass rusher. Now, I think it's a positive that he does stunts really well and he's got a good ability to move. Because if this was last year, Wink Martindale didn't like to do stunts a lot. It was pretty much blitz, 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 nothing too finesse about the defensive line. Shane Bowen, on the other hand, not that he does stunts 100% of the time, but he does it more than Wink Martindale. And that's where Elijah Chatman does fit in. And he also, because the Giants, Brian Dable specifically, focused on this when he hired Shane Bowen, he's got to plug the gaps, meaning Elijah Chatman. He's got to plug the gaps, and he's got to play the run really well. Because we could talk about all these other different things. He does special teams, he does fullback. Right, but he's got to play the defensive line position as well. Especially for a guy, we don't know what he is in the league yet. He could be good, he could be great, he could be elite, but he could also suck at his position, and then none of the other shit matters. So, in my opinion, he's got to grow as a pass rusher, just not via stunts, not like that, but he's also got to plug gaps and defend the run well against the 2s and the 3s, and special teams, and then fullback. Special teams, I think that's going to be big. Again, clean slate with defense, clean slate with special teams. If he's able to block some punts and return fumbles for touchdowns like he did SMU, then you have no problem in that regard. Then it's just down to your defense. As a fullback, I don't know how much the Giants are going to use him. Maybe that was a tool that they just said, okay, well, he does that, so we could bring him on a roster. Do they care about it? Do they not care about it? We'll see. The Giants have a ton of blocking tight ends. They have Bellinger. They have Theo Johnson, who could play fullback. They also have Jack Stoll and Chris Mannertz. Those guys can be fullbacks if asked, but they're also blocking tight ends, which is their main objective. And that may not point to an opportunity for Elijah Chatman. That might say, okay, well, he just has to do good on specials and primarily defense because we have no usage for him as a fullback. We really don't. So defending the run well, growing as a pass rusher, and plugging gaps, that's, the top ones for me. And then special teams, and then the extra add-on as a fullback. How can he lose? Lack of size and height plays a factor. Lack of growth as a pass rusher, out-dueled at fullback, bullied versus the run. The fullback thing, again, it's a little extra. Special teams, you would like some versatility. You would like for him to play special teams and just recognize him. But I don't think that's going to be the ultimate way he makes the roster. Again, it's going to be playing pure defensive line. Lack of size and height, specifically playing a factor, that's going to be scary. But if he does not grow as a pass rusher and he can only do that via stunts, I'm a little scared about that, to be completely honest with you guys. And I think the biggest thing, because they didn't mention it in the description and the strengths and weaknesses in the profile, I want to know more about his run defense specifically. I know some plays that these different guys on Twitter show that he's good versus the run, but I want to see it at NFL level versus the 2s and 3s. I want to see it versus those guys. Then I can make a decision. Because at the end of the day, I know we're talking about defensive line, and he may or not make the roster. He may or maybe not make the practice squad. And yes, his pass rushing is important, but we're also talking about when Dexter Lawrence comes off the field. We're also talking about when Dexter Lawrence is on the field, and we need a guy next to Dexter Lawrence, a guy that could stop the run. If Dexter Lawrence is getting double-teamed versus the run, there's not much he can do, and you need one guy that's one-on-one, a mano-a-mano situation, and he's going to go out and make a tackle or drive the offensive lineman back. Do something along that in terms of gap penetration. And if he can't do that, then it's going to be a long training camp for him, and he may not finish with a roster spot. So I have him getting cut, but I feel like if he's intriguing enough in certain snaps, I think the Giants will keep him on the practice squad. I don't think he's going to impress like all these people are saying, but I think he'll do enough to make a practice squad spot. Like, comment, subscribe to all the good stuff. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or a video drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. Peace out, guys. See you later. Stay cool.